Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. So, Jennifer Ives, I want to introduce you to everyone because I had the pleasure of hearing you speak, and that was how you came across my radar. You were speaking at a She Leads AI forum, and the way you champion not only this work, but the amazing work being done by women, I just had to connect with you. So I appreciate you so much. Do you mind just taking a moment, telling everybody a little bit about where you are coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for that, by the way. It's such an honor to join you for this conversation. It really is. Jennifer Ives. I'm the Vice President of Artificial Intelligence for an organization named the Partnership for Public Service. I lead the AI Center for Government. I've been involved in data analytics and AI for many years prior to ChatGPT hitting the scene. And in particular, I found a real love. I come from a geospatial engineering background and have helped a number of fast growing technology, data heavy technology companies, AI companies grow and expand globally. And I've been a co founder of my own AI company. And now I lead this AI Center for Government. And as I started to say, I found a real love of ensuring that leaders know about artificial intelligence. And I used to talk about it in terms of AI literacy. And today it's really AI fluency, that leaders must be AI fluent. And then in particular within leaders, I have a real special place in my heart for ensuring that women, whether they're leading, whether they're joining an organization and they're supporting an organization, they're supporting their own company, that they too really have a strong sense of artificial intelligence and that they can lead and feel comfortable and confident. So it's not just the AI literacy any longer, it's really the AI fluency. So I have a real love and passion around helping leaders feel comfortable and confident and to lead with clarity. Comfortable, confident, lead with clarity. There you go.
I love it. The three C's. We're going alliteration. And if it starts with alliteration, it is solid. And you have worked in such a diverse background. You've got SaaS background, you've got B2B tech background, AI powered companies. Do you find that there are some myths that you keep coming to again and again when it comes to AI, when it comes to business value?
I think the biggest myth is that AI is it's a magic wand. And for a number of years, I don't hear it as often anymore. And it might just be the leaders, the AI leaders that I'm around these days. But I used to hear the myth was like, oh, there's an AI magic wand, or we'll just sprinkle, quote unquote, we'll sprinkle. Could we sprinkle some AI to make this better? No, you can't sprinkle AI into a
It's
product.
not pixie dust.
Exactly, exactly. And so the myth is that there are a few myths, but the myth I come across often is that AI just magically appears. It magically makes everything faster, stronger, better, more powerful, will generate revenue, will create efficiencies, like all the things, like whatever the problem is, the challenges that particular organization is trying to solve for. They think that AI is the magic wand. You just wave it and it happens. So much happens in the data piece of that, right? The cleaning of the data, the engineering and the design of the data, far before it even hits a model in order to have AI do its magical thing, quote unquote. So, one is the myth of kind of sprinkling AI fairy dust and pixie dust everywhere and everything will be wonderful. The other, and I don't know that this is a myth or that it just routinely, organizations and leaders routinely miss this part, is you've got to figure out the challenge. This is business 101. This is not new and it's not new to AI. You have to figure out the problem that you're trying to solve and then get really specific about it, right? In order to identify the AI use case and even to see if AI is the correct solution to that particular challenge that you're trying to solve. So let's just assume that AI is the solution to that particular challenge. So often people and organizations fall in love with just give me AI. Investors will call and boards will call and agency executives and political leaders will say, give me more AI, give me some AI, or give me more AI. And you just have to
Mhm.
step back and say, okay, but before we even have an AI conversation, what is the problem, the challenge that you're looking to solve? The one is a little bit of a myth, and then the other is just that it's where I see AI go off the rails, or AI projects, or AI use cases, or something that people want to apply AI to something to solve it. It's just you have to start at the root of what is the challenge you're trying to solve, and it sounds so simple, and it sounds like, how is everyone missing that? But that's generally when an AI project does not work out well. It's generally that we didn't spend enough time figuring out the problem that you're trying to solve to then apply artificial intelligence to addressing that challenge.
Yeah. Now you tell me if I'm crazy. But what I'm hearing in my head is literally a conversation that I had maybe an hour ago with someone who was really struggling with the difference between availability checklist, done, got it, had the training, did the thing, and implementation. I- I'm noticing that there are the occasional collection of people that think it's an access issue, not an implementation issue. And what I'm hearing from you is that they're recognizing this kind of potential of AI, but they're not sure necessarily how to implement and apply to a specific situation. Am I completely off base with that, or am I connecting with what you said?
Yeah, you're not off base at all, and you're definitely connecting with what I was sharing. It again, AI is the hot topic, and many people come to a challenge and say, just find an AI solution for that, without actually going through the process of one. As I'll just speak from a leadership perspective, because that's where I spend a lot of time, both in the public sector, the private sector, and the nonprofit sector. Investors, board members, let's ensure that you have some AI fluency. Again, used to talk about AI literacy. It's not enough. You need to be fluent in AI. It doesn't mean that you need to be the data scientist on the team, that you need to be building out the models, you do need to know what questions to ask. You do need to understand you do need to feel confident and clear about bringing artificial intelligence, even the conversation, bringing that forward to your leadership team, or to the team that you're working with. And yes, there is this challenge between kind of throw AI at that, throw artificial intelligence at that, and implement. You're like, but you're missing the a really important piece here, which is, what's the problem you're trying to solve? And then how do you want to go about implementing it? Do you have the data that you need? First off, do you have the problem, right? Have you identified the problem? Do you have a use case? Is it small enough that you can test and learn, adjust, test and learn? Do you have the data? Do you have the people? Do you like, there are all these pieces to artificial intelligence projects and use cases that are required in order to be successful. So yes, to your point, there's absolutely this gap that happens between someone saying, apply artificial intelligence, and to the actual implementation and the delivery of a successful artificial intelligence based solution.
Mhm. And we have a shared friend who, Anne Murphy, who talks about change management being so incredibly important. Do you find that as you're consulting with organizations, as you're working with teams, or as you're advising as a member of a board, do you find that there needs to be that conversation of what it will be for people to shift, to change, to adjust?
Yes, I took a deep breath, because yes, what you and Anne have discussed in the past and others have discussed and are really trying to shine a spotlight on, it's the culture of an organization. By organization, I can mean an organization of 3. I can mean an organization of 50,000. There is a cultural shift at every level, in particular from the leadership level. So the board sets a culture, right? The board sets a culture and a tone. The C-suite in an organization sets a culture and a tone, and it's a culture of always learning, creativity, asking good questions, critical thinking, and AI first, right? Not just let's throw AI at something, but what is the AI workflow? Like, how do we want to think about this, either for our product or our service? Are we thinking about bringing external AI in kind of off the shelf? Are we thinking about customizing? Now, remember, this is all after you've thought about what it is that you're trying to achieve with artificial intelligence. So there's this culture piece that is a growth oriented, growth mindset culture that, unlike other technologies in the past, artificial intelligence isn't a one and done. And no shame or shade to any of the technologies in the past that I just generally refer to. I'm a technologist. I started out as a geospatial engineer. So what I mean by that is that the AI models and technologies that we have are moving so quickly. That's where it keys into the growth mindset culture that I'm referring to. It's not enough for a company, an organization, agency to say, we're now AI first. We're looking at different ways of applying artificial intelligence. Okay, how have you educated yourselves as leaders? How are you going to encourage, not just encourage, but require the learning and development of your team? And this is the one and done phrase that I was referring to. It's not just that you say, okay, in order to use, just even if you're using art, if you're applying artificial intelligence within an organization, it's not enough to say, take this course, take the 3 hours worth, come back with a certification, and then go forth and prosper with the AI tools in the organization that, by the way, as leaders, we've said, excellent, we now have 5 tools, or we've given permission for 17 tools. It's not enough for your teams to once a year take an AI course. It's a continual learning for your teams at every level. And it's continual learning also for you as leaders within your organization. Now, when I say that with deep empathy, because we're referencing and talking about a lot of really smart people who are very smart and high achieving in their specialty area, whatever that area is.
Mhm.
Small business, mid-sized business, large business, agency, like whatever, and in different sectors. And now there's this tidal wave of about 2 years ago. AI has been around for a long time, but let's just talk about the large language model tidal wave of 2 years, 2-ish years ago. This tidal wave hit, and now leaders and team members need to do their day job, and now they need to keep up with
Mm.
the knowledge of artificial intelligence that's happening and moving forward at an incredibly rapid pace, faster than we've ever seen before. So I share all this with deep empathy. This is not a judgment. This is not, you need to do things better. This is, you need to be very aware. This is ongoing. This is 5 and 10 minutes a day, an hour, 2 hours a week that everyone should be learning, growth mindset, constantly curious. A lot of people over the years have said, how did you get involved in AI years ago? And I said, as a geospatial engineer, I was playing in data all the time anyway, right? That was my life, is layers and layers of data. And I was just always curious. I always wanted to know more. And then that led to artificial intelligence and wanting to know more about So I try to share that curiosity, like that innate curiosity, with others. Because sometimes I'll have friends, colleagues, others who will say, it's a lot. Like, how am I getting my own work done? Like, I know you're the AI person. And I said, I don't know that I'm the AI person. However, I am someone who's curious and I want to know what's behind the curtain. I want to know how these models work. I want to know how people are using them to create efficiencies and to create effectiveness in their daily lives and in their work lives. I just shared a number of things to answer that one question. How
No, it's an awesome. Yeah, no, I think
that was
because
not too much.
no, it's so complicated, but I love that you brought up the empathy because I tell you, oftentimes a lot of the people that are listening are solopreneurs, right? So you're wearing every single hat possible.
Yes.
Small business, you are leading the charge and you're leading a team. And the space, the cognitive space is at a premium. And I can only say that my own curiosity can take me as far as my exhaustion allows it, right? But I think that there's power in community as well.
Yes.
And I think that can be an energizing force. And I know that you have done some work to try to not only support communities, but create. I know the MIT Women in AI conference, you were able to speak there. And through Innovation Women, you've spoken passionately about the power of community. And
Yeah.
I know we just had this conversation. I know before we hit record where there are so many women in this space, but sometimes people argue that they're just hard to find.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is some reality to that? Do you think there are certain industries where there's still a gap, or are we just not seeing all these fantastic women?
I don't think the numbers will show that, in fact, there is a reality to that of in a sense. I don't buy it because I can't take 2 steps, literally, without speaking with, bumping into, exchanging ideas with a woman in artificial intelligence. She leads AI. So you talk about communities. Communities are incredibly important. I lead an AI center for government. That is a community of public sector leaders. I'm involved with many organizations that are communities, right? Communities of women in AI. So women in AI, women and AI. She leads AI. It goes on and on. And so when I see panels that don't have gender diversity, or I see conversations occurring, or AI leaders being highlighted without any gender diversity, I have a hard time with that because I know that's not the reality. I know for a fact that's not the reality because every day I'm speaking with men and women about artificial intelligence, and they're leading some very big organizations. These are not people who are shy about sharing their AI knowledge. They could be solopreneurs, they could be leading mid-sized organizations, they can be leading huge global organizations. My point on that is that these are not shy people. They are out there sharing their thought leadership around artificial intelligence, men and women together. No, I don't buy that there aren't enough women to fill panels and to be on stage and to be sharing AI knowledge. And I'm someone who has always believed in generously sharing knowledge. And in a world of AI, we do not have the time or the space or the we do not have the time or the space to not be sharing everything we know around AI very generously. AI is moving far too fast, and that we just do not have the ability to sit back and look at it. I talk about generosity of sharing insights. So when you ask me the question about women, there are many brilliant women in AI, and not hard to find either. Not hard to find at all, actually.
And you've spent significant time building global executive networks that kind of foster this idea of sharing, collaboration. And what do you think what are you finding that those communities are revealing about how leaders are adapting to AI today?
What's interesting about those communities and it's interesting because AI is a technology, and the communities that are thriving are communities that tap into the humanity, to the human piece of connection. So, as a community, how are we going to learn together? How are we going to generously share information with one another? How are we as humans going to connect in order to share ideas and thoughts about this technology, right? Artificial intelligence, augmented intelligence, how I like to refer to it. So it's the human piece of building communities that I find so incredibly helpful, and not just for women, right? This is not gender blind. Communities across men and women, gender, when you're talking specifically about gender diversity, communities are helpful to all. The convening of people who are sharing their lessons learned, what's worked well, what hasn't worked well. And I think in life, you learn most from what didn't work well. In the world of artificial intelligence, you learn so much. You almost can't be in the world of artificial intelligence without really hearing and thinking through and being exposed to what didn't work. And so to generously share that information across communities as human beings, there's nothing better than that. And I
Mhm.
find the proliferation of communities, the growth of communities around artificial intelligence has been exploding. And I couldn't be happier to see that because I do believe that's one way that we're going to be able to all understand and really become an AI ready world is the growth of these communities that are helping everyone come along, everyone rise up to the AI knowledge that we all need.
See, you're talking about scaling innovation, and it's the community, it's the connectivity that's actually going to bring that about.
Absolutely, because and I believe that AI is daunting, and especially if someone is brand new to it. So maybe someone has been playing in AI, and when I say playing, I say that like in a fun technology way because I've been playing in data and AI for a long time. If someone is brand new to it, it is daunting, and there's already a sense amongst men and women across the board, that I was just talking with leaders this morning, and there was a sense of, they didn't say it directly, but they said it indirectly to me, that there's a sense that they've already missed the boat. And I said, it's only been 2 years. Like, a- again, AI has been around much longer than 2 years. So we're talking about generative AI, large language models that everyone is now exposed to, living and breathing on a daily basis. I said, it's only been 2 years. And yes, those 2 years probably feel like 10 years. And the amount of innovation that's happened in the 2 years it's 10 years worth of innovation. But the ability to share and be amongst each other and to be able to say that and learn about the technology together, there's this, it's almost just everyone can exhale a little bit. And again, it gets back to the human piece of the ability for communities and being part of a community to share thoughts, share ideas, ask questions that you might feel uncomfortable doing. And if this technology is so new to you and or maybe you're in the technology and you're trying to take a step forward or 5 steps forward, being able to say to someone, this is where I am. What do you think about this? Is this a silly question? The number of times I heard that today, raise a hand. Is this a silly question? I don't want to bring the whole group backwards. And as you and I know, if you have the question in life, other people in the room probably have that same question. So that ability, again, that human ability to connect and discuss where you are in the journey of your AI literacy, your AI fluency. And for solopreneurs, having organizations and communities, right? Communities like She Leads AI, you can't do it. And listen, how to build an AI agent. If someone is brand new to technology, to AI, how to build an AI agent, I want to do that with a few people. And I know that She Leads AI has led some of those opportunities where let's all get together on a Saturday and for a few hours, we're going to build AI agents together, right? Camaraderie. And there's the experience of doing so. That's a human experience. I'm a big fan of communities. And by the way, communities can be virtual. It doesn't have to be elbow to elbow. Doesn't have to be in person. Those communities can be virtual, as they often are. So let me pause there for a moment and just see if you have any thoughts or questions about that, because you're so active in a number of communities as well. And so I want to get your thoughts on that as well.
I agree with you so hugely, in so much so that I really do think that is a future. There's a future to learning, and I don't think it's in isolation. I think it's going to be collaborative. And that is the beauty of this. Yes, you talk about virtual community. I think Ann and I have met face to face once, but it was like, and I feel like I know you, because that's the relationship that you get in these communities where you're learning something together, you're being vulnerable together, but you're doing it with people that look like you, they've had similar experiences to you, they've had your same concerns, your same questions, and it's in a space that's relatively safe for you to share those things.
Yeah.
I think that has been a piece that was missing for me until I found the women to do it with. And so I would say I think it is especially vital for previously underserved populations to find community, for
Yes.
previously maybe invisible populations or people that felt invisible to
Yes.
find community. Because to be able to go through this with someone else, as opposed to, oh my God, I'm just now doing this. Look, I just found 50 people that are 500 steps ahead of me. I'm so far behind. If you get yourself into a community, chances are there's going to be somebody right there next to you going, oh my God, me too. I thought it was just me.
Yes. And chances are there's someone who was there 2 days ago or 4 months ago or 6 months ago that said, oh my gosh, I was there 6 months ago. And look where I am now with this knowledge. And let me help bring you along. You don't have to be, no question is too silly. I know just 3 weeks ago, I was building my first agent, or you fill in the blank, right? I was learning about XYZ related to AI just 3 weeks ago. Come with me. Let me help bring you along. That's
Yep.
what community is all about.
Yeah. And that's why I would say that's the future. I would, but I'm interested in your take. What do you think the next 3, 5 years hold for women in AI? Because we just said, and I agree with you, AI is like dog years. It's, oh my God, that was really just like October that happened, because it feels like way older than that. So I have empathy for that sentiment. I agree with you that there's no time like the present to move forward. I'm just curious what you think the future is going to be like, especially for women in these communities in AI, because they're not just in tech roles, but they're also founders of businesses themselves, or they've been in that C suite. They're having those policy questions. What is it going to look like, do you think?
I'll get a little somber for a moment.
Okay.
Women are not moving forward in the world of AI at the same rate as men. And there studies have shown that there are a number of reasons for that. So if I could just focus on one in particular for this conversation, studies have shown that women tend to feel and believe that somehow leveraging artificial intelligence to create, to do their jobs more effectively, to do their jobs more efficiently, all fill in the blank, that is somehow cheating. And we need to strike that immediately. That is not cheating. No one said that when you moved from calculators to spreadsheets to via Excel, that was cheating. This is not cheating. This is helping everyone supercharge their abilities in life, in both personally and professionally. And so women, studies have shown, have tend to hold on to this idea that it's somehow cheating. And what I would hope, and what it's why even on real extremely busy days, when someone asks me to speak to women, I immediately say women and speak to them about artificial intelligence. I immediately say yes. If I can physically do it, there are enough hours in the day, I will say yes, because it is so important for, I believe, women to see women, to hear women who are in artificial intelligence, women to help pull back the curtain on what artificial intelligence is and help them step into it, because women need to be in the conversation. They need to be helping to make decisions. They need to be users of artificial intelligence. They need to be creators of artificial intelligence. They need to be in leadership positions that are making decisions either directly or indirectly around artificial intelligence. So, everything we can do to help women feel more comfortable, more engaged, and more welcomed into the conversation around artificial intelligence, the better the whole world will be, better humanity will be, because just as with other technologies, diversity is everything. And in artificial intelligence, it is everything. Diversity of thought, diversity of contributions, diversity of decision making around different forms of artificial intelligence. Again, how it's created or how it's used, how it's leveraged. Diversity in thought is required. And we have to have women at the table. We have to make sure that they feel comfortable, confident, and that they have clarity around artificial intelligence to be at the table. One of the hardest things that I started to see, that I saw a few years ago, and I worked at the time, and I still do, with a lot of C suite executive teams, is that many times there would be a few women around the executive team that, within that group. And the topic of artificial intelligence would come up. And this was a little bit earlier on. So large language models had just hit the scene a few months prior, but they immediately would shift to someone else in the room, as if someone else had the answer for something that would just hit the scene 2 months ago. And they lost their voices immediately because the conversation never went back to them. And I know this because I was in those rooms, because I was consulting with those organizations. And it's not a failure of the organization. It's not that the organization said we don't want women in this conversation. It's that I was seeing women executives take themselves out of the conversation, whether they meant to or didn't mean to, so directly or indirectly. I love that now we're 2 years, and fast forward 2 years, and I'm seeing many more women becoming much more involved in artificial intelligence, becoming more clear about it, becoming more curious about it, becoming more confident. Because just as anyone in a leadership position, AI or not, the minute you take yourself or you step back from that conversation, you will lose your voice. And oftentimes in the world of leadership, right, you won't be invited back into that conversation. And again, many times it's because you haven't been an active voice in it. It is imperative that we introduce and help women feel as comfortable as possible. And again, there are a number of reasons why women are shying away from learning about AI and using AI at the same rate as men. That's not to say that women in general are shying, it's just at the same rate as men. And we all, again, I'll go back to She Leads AI and other organizations that are helping women become confident, clear, curious about it. It's it's imperative I could talk for another 20 minutes on the topic of why it's so important. So let me just hold
Yeah.
and pause there for a moment. And
No, I welcome the passion. I do. It's echoing a conversation that I had recently with someone that excused herself for bringing up her life story in the context of why she was so engaged with AI. And she said, "I'm sorry, I'm sure you want to hear more about what I do with it." And I was like, "No, I want to hear your story because that influences what you do with it. That influences the value that you find in it." And that is to me an echo of that diversity piece that you're talking about. We need people to bring that life experience to the table, rather it had to do directly with AI or not, because that's going to give them that unique lens that was heretofore missing. And
yes.
that's the piece where I feel like sometimes someone will defer because they feel like, oh, this person is in action right now.
Yeah.
Or, oh, this person was just talking to me about this. So let's let that person talk. And I think, okay, don't dismiss what you're bringing to your own AI experience because that is a lens that hasn't been brought to the table before and we need it.
Yes.
That's the
So
piece where
beautiful.
I yeah, it's just I wanna echo what you're saying just because I that experience is just so right next to me right now because I
Yeah.
just had that conversation, and so don't ever dismiss what brought you to this because that's what we need. We
Yeah.
need that diversity because we are training as AI reacts to our requests, as we provide it feedback. It's only got the biased data that it was built with. And that if we don't bring these diverse pieces to the table, then how is it gonna improve?
Yeah. And correct. And if there aren't diverse voices asking additional questions and identifying potential bias in data, how will we know?
Yeah.
And it's critical. And there's so much research over the years to show that diverse teams across all technologies, again, if you were just to put AI to the side and before generative AI came to hit the scene a couple of years ago, so many research studies showing that diverse thought, diverse contributions lead to better products. They just do. And the numbers show it. This isn't Jennifer Ives saying it. This is McKinsey studies and Harvard studies, and it goes on, global
I didn't
studies.
make this up right before I came
Exactly.
on.
It's AI is no different. AI is no different. It benefits from having diverse contributions.
Yes, yes. And in the spirit of that, where can our friends learn more about your work? Where can they reach out to you? Where can they connect with you, your executive networks, your communities? Where can they connect?
Oh, thank you. They can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always available on LinkedIn. Love the I'm a big fan of LinkedIn and sharing thoughts and insights and cheering other people on and really highlighting all the good work that so many people around the world are doing when it comes to AI and leadership and women in technology. Those are the kinds of things that I tend to post about and cheer other people on about. So LinkedIn is a great place to find me, Jennifer S. Ives on LinkedIn. And gosh, I keep meaning to start recording kind of 30-second, 90-second videos and pop them onto Reels and TikTok and even pop them onto LinkedIn. So I need to get started on that. Right now, I'm still writing a lot and posting. And again, most of my time and most of my comments on LinkedIn are celebrating others. I grew up with incredibly generous family, and I've had many mentors in my life since the beginning of my career who I saw model the celebration of others and that there's room enough in the world for everyone. I often say that. And I think that's who I am as a person. And I've also seen it modeled around me time and time again, the people that I tend to surround myself with. So you'll often find me on LinkedIn, probably 90% of the time cheering other people on and really gaining insights from others. I love to learn. I'm in that constant growth and growth mindset mode. And but I also love, I've been finding a lot of folks, Sabrina Ramanov and others who I love to follow as well. And the videos are so great and they're bite-sized. And that is, we talked some theoretical during our conversation today. And I would love to lead, and we can have it in the post or wherever, but when someone wants to learn a little bit about artificial intelligence and they're finding She Leads AI and they're finding some of these other communities, a couple of resources that I find helpful that I often say you should really go to code.org, 10-minute videos, Innovate US. These are virtual online platforms that have free, publicly available Coursera, LinkedIn Learning. These are, and many of the larger players now have entire catalogs of their learning out for free because they realize how important it is to make sure that we have an AI ready workforce. So we talked a lot about leadership and solopreneurs. It's this AI ready workforce. So if folks want some concrete kind of what do I do next, I would say hashtag she leads AI. I would say check out code.org. I would say check out Innovate US. I would go and look at these, find on Coursera, find on LinkedIn, these 3-minute, 10-minute, 60-minute intros to artificial intelligence, and then take some of that intro knowledge and come to She Leads AI and start building out AI agents and feeling comfortable and confident, and then go lead and be part of important AI conversations.
Thank you for that. And what's next for you? What are you going to be heading into now?
Oh my goodness, I am loving the AI Center for Government is such an important piece of my life and the team's life. And I AI Center for Government, and as much as I can do around helping women feel more comfortable and confident also about AI, artificial intelligence. That's where I spend a lot of my time. Those two, the one organization and many organizations around women in AI.
They're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
And
you.
I am so grateful for your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been an honor.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.